Hey guys, Steven here back with another video, and today I'll be talking about how to price your work. I feel like this is a big issue, and also finding clients go hand in hand with this, because if you price your work too high, you might not get any clients. If you price it too low, you might not get any clients. And some people have confusion because they don't know what too high or too little is, because they haven't done the research. They don't know what other people are pricing their work at. They don't really want to compare their stuff to other people. I've had to do this with graphic design work, with photography work, with videography work. So I know the struggle. I think finding clients is very hard as well. I actually made a video last week about how to get more clients. So if you want to check that out, check the link in the description. And with that being said, let's just get into it. So starting it off, my first piece of advice is not to charge hourly. I know it's a popular thing to do. I know you like the idea of putting in, an hour and getting it back like maybe $80. But the thing with this is usually things you do take more than just 1 hour. If you're doing a photo shoot for 2 hours and you take pictures, there's pre-production and there's post-production you have to do. So planning of the shoot, location scouting. And then if you look at post-production, so things like editing, it takes a lot. And then just, uploading onto Drive, it takes another hour. It takes a lot of time and effort and just mental space that is worth more than the hour rate you're charging. So when I first started off, I would charge like $60 for a photo shoot. But the thing with this is the photo shoot was, 1 hour, but the editing of the photos took longer than the actual shoot. And then the pre-production of me planning where to shoot, the angles I want to shoot, location scouting, all that would take more than an hour as well. So essentially I was getting paid for 1 hour and putting in like 3-4 hours of work, which is something you don't want, obviously. So what I'm saying is the services you do usually don't just take an hour. Sometimes they'll take a day usually. I think if you're working on a project, if you're working on some sort of service, I think it'll take, roughly a day. If you're making a YouTube banner or some sort of graphic, design work for somebody, it's going to take around a day. Surely you can complete it, fast, but then the planning of it and the finalization of it will take longer than an hour. Also adding onto that, and why charging hourly is bad, well, not bad, but not ideal, is that when you progress and you get better at your service and your work at your craft, what took you 1 hour will take you 30 minutes, because the more you do something, the faster you get at doing it. So if it took me an hour to edit a video, it'll take me 30 minutes to edit a video if I have that experience. So why would I get paid less for finishing faster? If you think about it, you should be getting paid more for finishing faster with a faster delivery, right? So just think about it. You charge, let's say $80 an hour, right? So in year one, it takes you 2 hours to edit the video. So you're getting paid $160. But in year two, when you're more experienced, you finish it in an hour and you get paid less. That really doesn't make sense. So that's why I don't think it's really ideal to charge hourly, just because you'll always get better. It's easier to determine a set price than an hourly price. But if you do like charging hourly and just like the idea of, putting in some amount of time and getting it back so that that your, time is worth this certain amount of money and you get that back, I recommend determining how long your service is going to take. Any additional time after that will be an additional cost. So what this means is if you think it's going to take you, 3 hours to finish a music video, like recording it, you set a price for that. Let's say that's $1,000. But if the client, has additional requests, wants you to redo a shot, redo something, redo the editing, then you can add that to the additional cost. So if it takes longer than 3 hours, that's an additional cost. This way you get compensated for any extra work you do, which is very important, because usually there is extra work that a client wants you to do, like modifications on something, a better location that you can shoot at, or something like that, right? This really works for like graphic design as well. Like I'm sure a lot of times clients don't like this certain thing, but you've worked on it for a long time and you think it's really good. By setting an additional price, you're getting compensated for the extra work you're doing. The next piece of advice, I mentioned this, throughout the video already, but it's to think about every aspect of your service, everything it entails, and add that into your cost. So if you're taking time to do post-production, pre-production, like editing, planning, storyboarding, and all that sort of stuff, you want to include that in your price, because you want to make money on the things that you're doing. You don't want to do things for free, right? These things take time and preparation, and it wouldn't be fair if you're doing these things for essentially free and only getting paid for actually the recording, the creation of it, and not the editing of it. Also, there may be additional costs that need to be covered. So things like transportation, if you're going to shoot that's downtown and you need, bus fare, the client should be willing to pay for it because they're not coming to you, you're coming to them. So they should be paying for your transportation. And I've included this in my prices for a while now because I would be paying like $10 to go to downtown Toronto through a bus, and I wouldn't be compensated for that. And I'm just losing money for no reason. Also, if you're doing some sort of commercial work with video, you may need to be compensated for non-copyrighted music because only, really good non-copyrighted free, royalty-free music is paid. You may need to buy a license for that, and it may cost money. So you should also be compensated for that as well, or reimbursed for that amount. So if it costs $10 for that song, they should be paying for it, not you. For my third piece of advice, it actually came from Craig Adams, who I did a podcast with, and it was actually mentioned during the video. We were talking about sponsorships and brand deals and what to charge and stuff like that. And I think it really relates back to this as well and how to price your work. You got to see the amount of yeses and nos you're getting. So what I mean by this is if you're getting inquiries from people who want to do photo shoots, who want to buy your work, and you give them a price and 99% of them say yes, your price is too low and you need to increase it. If you're getting all no's, then you know that your price is too high and you need to adjust it. So looking at the yeses and the no's can help you determine the right balance. So if you're getting 50% yeses and 50% no's, so meaning 50% of the people are okay with the price and 50% aren't okay with the price, then I think that's the right balance. And you got to realize that some potential clients probably don't have the same budgets as other ones. So it's okay if they say no to your price because they're probably not the clients you want. If you're providing high-end, work like graphic design work, the client should be paying that same high price for that high quality work. If they wanted something cheaper, they would go for somebody cheaper. Moving on to my next piece of advice, I would say it's very important that you just take a step back and look at your work for what it is and asking yourself, would I buy this and would I buy it for this price? A lot of people overvalue and a lot of people undervalue their work because if they overvalue their work, they're usually really connected to it because they're proud of it and it isn't really that good and they're just really proud of it. So they overprice it. They think it's amazing. And then there's other people who undervalue their work, who make great work, but are perfectionists, aren't satisfied with it because they think they can do better. And so what they do is they lower the price. You got to really know yourself and know that your work is good or it's bad, and then price it accordingly. When I look at my work, do I think 100 photos taken by me is worth $100? I surely do. And I think a lot of other people do. And it shows with the amount of clients I'm getting. But if I was looking at my photos and I was like, no way this is worth $100, and I wouldn't myself spend $100 on this, then I think a lot of people probably wouldn't either. But the thing here is that some people may be able to price their work higher because they have leverage, because they have content, because they have more followers. So if you're in a position where you have leverage, you can afford to price your work higher. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. My name is Steven, and I'll see you in the next one.